It's important to remind people in every scenario that we're in the middle of a global pandemic. These are unprecedented times. It's just not normal. We fight diversity in many different ways. Food insecurity is just one of them, but it's a big one.
People panicked. They wanted to know how to get food. Of course, I own a grocery store. We realized that people were shut in. They were older, scared, so we decided to make some meals and get the meals out to them. At first, I was doing it all by myself. And I would sit in bed and think, there's got to be more people. If I found 35 people in 2 weeks, there's got to be more people out there. So I would just sit and ponder that thought and be like, how am I going to do this? I did about 5 days before Rosie and Ricky called me, and then they jumped on board. Before we knew it, we had a plan. We took all the food out of here. Then it went over to Kiev, and that's who's doing it now, and they're doing a great job.
Once you see how someone has been living, the lack of supports that they have, you can't rest until you find a way to fix that. And that is what drives each of the people that are working on this food initiative.
The need is real. And I think this pandemic just highlighted the fact of food insecurity in this area. Because if we didn't have this pandemic, that's one silver lining, we wouldn't have, I personally wouldn't have known the need that was out there. It's just really, really gratifying. It's gratifying to think that we were able to fill that need. It's kind of put a new perspective as I drive through town, whether I drive down to Pembroke Beach with a camp group or I drive to Booth Bay to see the school. Along the way, I've passed many places that I was somewhat blind to the need that's out there. You don't realize sometimes in these homes that there are people wondering what they might have in the refrigerator or the cupboard.
It was surreal. We closed our store on March 16th because of the coronavirus pandemic. We were really nervous and wanted to keep our customers safe, so we thought it was the best thing we could do.
We've basically been helping build the Lincoln County Food Initiative, and here we are today, making deliveries twice a week, helping prep food at the Kiev Kitchen, and just working on short-term and long-term planning.
We love this community so much. We're so dedicated to this community already with our store. We love our customers and our friends and our family. What else was I supposed to do but help or try to figure out the best way to help, the safest way to help?
We've really created some pretty special bonds. A couple of the women on the route especially they're just so happy and pleasant. Just a quick minute of small talk, but it means so much more to them and myself. It's pretty cool.
Oh, I love it. I love it. He's the best.
She's one of my favorites.
He's the best kid. See, it's funny how this happens because I volunteered for years, even CNA work, but I've always. So I guess
what goes around
what
comes around.
What do you call it? The shoes on the other foot.
Yeah, just like that.
Right.
It's what we do for each other.
Right, it is. So we'll see you Tuesday.
You betcha.
Huh?
I'll be right here.
We want to keep the food initiative going after COVID because we've realized that there's so much need in our community. The need is for people that don't fit into the perfect social service box. They might not be eligible for a Meals on Wheels program, or they might be recovering from an illness and needs something right now to help them. Or they lost their job and they have kids at home and they can't get out, they don't have gas, they have a transportation barrier, and no one around them can help them. They don't have anywhere to turn. But if we can keep this going, we can at least connect them to the right resource.
The idea of having shame to walk into a food pantry and receive that support and love from the community and all the towns around, we're trying to lessen that. There's enough with the worry and all the other logistics of trying to maneuver around this pandemic that we don't need people hungry and not healthy. And if a virus is coming their way, what better way to assure that they can fight it off appropriately if they're getting fed well?
God, that's the worst part. The shame. I wish I could explain. It's this hesitancy. It's them not really wanting to tell you their full situation, because once you ask more questions, you realize how dire it is, how they haven't had meat in months because they can't afford it. And then when you explain that what you're going to do, they're overjoyed, they're shocked, but I don't think they believe that this could ever be long-lasting. And I want them to believe that it can be, and you can get back on your feet too. You won't have to not buy meat for months because you can't afford it. Shit. Anyway, I rambled.
Like unison, right?
Oh wait, 1, 2, 3.